morning, everyone. Welcome to our virtual tabling. And so today is February 2nd, which means it's the second day of February, which also means it is the second day of American Heart Health. And so today, the Health Promotion Disease Prevention team, throughout the entire month of February, we're going to be talking about all things heart health. And this week, we're kicking it off with high blood cholesterol awareness. And specifically, we're going to talk about heart healthy fats and how they can improve or help out our heart health. So without further ado, let's get started. So first, what exactly is cholesterol? So cholesterol is a waxy substance that's present in our blood. It's essential for our bodily functions, so we need it to create the walls of our body cells. We need it for a lot of hormones and things like that. So cholesterol is, we do need it. It is vital for, us to live. And there's two main types of cholesterol. So there's HDL, which we often dub as good cholesterol, and LDL, which is often dubbed as bad cholesterol. And it's the LDL or the bad cholesterol, which can clog our arteries. It'll start to bind to the walls of our arteries, and then eventually can lead into narrowing of those arteries because of the cholesterol. So how prevalent is high cholesterol? So 93 million American adults actually have a total cholesterol level over 200 milligrams per deciliter. And out of those 93 million adults, 29 million actually have a total cholesterol level of over 240. And if we look at the graph here, the borderline for borderline level for high cholesterol is 200 milligrams, and the too high is the 240s. So according to the CDC, about 29 million adults actually are diagnosed with high cholesterol. So why exactly is it bad? So as we kind of said, cholesterol may build up in the arteries and cause them to narrow. And so this will decrease the amount of blood that can pass through arteries, and subsequently this can lead to heart attacks or strokes. So how exactly do you go about managing high cholesterol? There's a couple of things you can do. So getting regular exercise, of course. What we'll focus on in this presentation is eating more heart healthy fats and cutting down on saturated and trans fats. But some additional ways you can manage high cholesterol is, of course, eating more fiber. This gives the cholesterol in our blood something to bind to, and then it won't get stuck in our arteries. As well as quitting smoking and then cutting back on alcohol consumption, because these can also lead to high cholesterol. So let's get more in depth into eating more heart healthy fats and cutting back on saturated or trans fats. So heart healthy fats, it seems kind of counterintuitive eating more fat in order to lower cholesterol, but the nice thing about eating heart healthy fats is that it actually does lower your increase for heart disease. And the way it does this is because if you're eating heart healthy fats like plant-based oils, you're naturally just reducing your saturated fat intake by not cooking with things like butter or lard, which have a lot of saturated fat in them. And in addition, these heart healthy fats are higher in unsaturated fats. And what these unsaturated fats do for us is they actually raise our HDL or our good cholesterol, which in turn then lowers our LDL or our bad cholesterol. So heart healthy fats are a great way to improve our heart health. And in addition, it depends on the sources that you get them from. So for example, of course, cooking with heart healthy oils is a great way to include heart healthy fats in your diet. And then the nice thing about eating tree nuts or seeds, so for example like walnuts, pecans, pumpkin seeds, those things, they're also a good source of fiber. So in addition to getting all those healthy unsaturated fats, you're getting you're also getting additional fiber. And so in addition, fatty fish, so things like salmon, are another good source of these healthy fats. But in addition to getting healthy fats, you're also getting a good source of lean protein. So that's another benefit of eating salmon. One thing I will like to note is that heart healthy fats are very calorie dense, so you do want to eat them in moderation. And so this is just a graphic going over the different kinds of fats. So starting from left to right, we start with saturated fats, and these are derivably large from animal products like meat, dairy, and eggs, but you can also find them in plant-based sources. So for example, like coconut oil and palm oil are actually very high in saturated fats. The jury's still out on whether they're harmful or beneficial, but in general, we like to say to limit your saturated fats. And then next we have trans fats, and a lot of trans fats are actually used to extend the shelf life of processed foods. If you look in the back of a food label, you sometimes will see things like partially hydrogenated or hydrogenated vegetable oils. That's a kind of trans fat that companies will put into their foods in order to help extend the shelf life. And so as such, you'll see them in a lot of like cakes and cookies and things like that. And it's important to note that trans fats are no longer recognized as safe by the FDA, and we want to limit trans fats as much as possible. And then last but certainly not least, we have unsaturated fats. And so these are derived from vegetables and different plant sources. So, things like avocados, different tree nuts and seeds, things like olive oil. And these are comprised of two different kinds of unsaturated fats, monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats, which are all very good for our heart health as well as health in different other areas. So for example, polyunsaturated fats, along with the omega-3s, are very good for our brain health, excuse me. And so one important thing to note when you're including oils or like heart healthy oils into your cooking is that not all oils are made the same. So when you're cooking, of course, different cooking methods require different heat. And because of that, and because oils have different, let me start with the smoke points with oils. So oils have different smoke points, which means they'll start to burn at different temperatures. Generally, if an oil has a higher smoke point, it means that it's a little bit more processed, that a lot of the antioxidants have been taken out of it, and therefore, it does have a higher smoke point. It can withstand higher temperatures without burning. One thing I will say is you do want to choose a correct oil for the cooking method that you're doing, because not only will you burn if you're cooking an oil too high, not only will you burn it, but it's actually those smoking fumes that come off of burning oil is actually toxic to us. So it's a good idea to make sure that you're cooking with, if you're cooking with a specific cooking method in mind, that you have the right oil, which we will go over. So we'll start with browning or searing. So browning and searing food, this is like a very high heat cooking method, and so you want like a nice oil that will withstand that. So for example, some of the oils that are very good for browning and searing different foods are sunflower oil, canola oil, corn oil, peanut oil, and a light olive oil. If you do opt for olive oil for this, do go for like a more processed, a more refined light olive oil as opposed to an extra virgin olive oil, because a light olive oil will be able to withstand the temperature. And then oils for stir frying and baking. So these aren't as high heat as searing or browning is, but it still does require an oil with a higher smoke point. So again, things like canola oil, corn oil, peanut oil, as well as grapeseed oil are very good for stir frying or baking foods. And then oils for sauteing and sauces. So sauteing, of course, is a very common cooking method. It doesn't require a whole lot of oil, and it also doesn't require a whole lot of heat. Um, so if you're planning on sauteing some vegetables or sauteing some meat, you'll want to opt for like a regular kind of olive oil because it doesn't need to withstand the temperatures for browning or searing, but it does need to have a little bit higher of a smoke point. So things like regular olive oil, walnut oil, as well as sesame oil are good for sauteing and making sauces. And then we have oils for dressings, dips, and marinades. So for dressings, dips, and marinades, there's often minimal cooking, and so that's why it's a good idea to use these kinds of oils that have a much lower smoke point. And so you'll get you'll get more antioxidants because the oil is cold pressed instead of being refined, and it's also will impart a good amount of flavor. So good oils for dressings, dips, and marinades are things like your extra virgin olive oil, as well as flaxseed oil, walnut oil, and avocado oil. And so that is all that I have for you today. As always, let us know if you have any questions. You can comment below, or you can email our team at healthpromotion@glick.net. And so in addition to our talk about cholesterol and heart healthy oils, this Thursday we will be having a cooking demo centered on heart healthy fats. So if you're interested in that, we invite you to tune in at 11 a.m. on this Thursday to learn more about how you can cook with heart healthy fats. And so that is all that I have for you today. And so I will see you again next time.